Hello, we're coming at you live from Fruit Heights, Utah. I bet a lot of you did not even know that place existed, but it does.
It's small.
But it's nice. It's nice. I am sitting here with one of my childhood best friends, Jen the Azevedo Sutner, and we reconnected in November, went to Genius Boot Camp, and neither of us had any idea that the other was going to be there.
It was a surprise. A big surprise.
Only 20 people in the room, and
I came from Utah. She came from Georgia. It was in Mesa. What are the odds?
It was pretty amazing. And I don't believe in coincidence. You know, it's just pretty cool when God brings someone back into your life. But she's had a lot of life changes over the last several years.
Yeah, it's been a decent chunk of time now. Yeah.
And so I know that there's a lot of people in this group that are dealing with one parent lifestyle, and whether that be due to divorce, whether that be due to death, whether that be due to a spouse that works insane hours, or it brings unique challenges. And so we wanted to kind of come on here. I've been watching Jen. She's got 3 amazing boys.
I think they are.
And
I'm biased.
Well, I think so too. My opinion counts for something,
Okay,
right?
thank you.
And so we wanted to kind of come from that angle that she has this amazing connection with her boys. And as I watch her and see how she interacts and how they interact back, she just is really great. Our internet connection's low.
Oh, shoot.
So it's recording. It will bump back up when it's live. But
Sorry,
you're not going to get to watch this live. But anyway, you can comment your questions or comments, and we'll get to them on the after the fact, not the live.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see, okay, what things do you do on a regular basis? What things have you found helpful in creating that? It's like a heart-to-heart emotional connection.
It is.
And I know a lot of people crave that, even with a 2-parent family.
Right.
It's something it's hard to figure out. So what do you do to create that kind of connection?
I was fortunate that I was raised in a family that love came really easily. I know a lot of people don't have that. It's awkward and hard and weird. But I was raised already feeling like no matter what I do, even if I screw up, I know my mom and dad love me. And so I've always approached my kids that same way. Like, they might do stuff that I would never want them to do, but it doesn't matter. I love them so much. And one of my biggest goals was that my kids could talk to me about anything. And that means having no reaction. When they tell you things that you're like, oh man, you can't go, oh man. You have to just
stay neutral.
Yeah, you have to stay neutral so that they do feel safe, because they don't want to disappoint you. They don't want to feel like, I just screwed up and I made mom sad, and so to just also remember when you were a kid. Like, that is huge. Just remember what it felt like for you to be like, I've got this problem or this issue, or I did something stupid, and I just need someone to talk to. If you approach them from there, it's so much easier. Like, not coming from an adult place of, you should know, why would you do that,
Yeah.
I say a lot. I'm working on it. Sorry.
It's okay. They know.
All right.
So, and that, I can see the fruits in your boys, and just I think you kind of have to come from a place of not even just neutrality when they tell you things, but just love and understanding and keeping that door open. And you do things I've noticed, like you make it a point if you haven't spent time with that child, because she's running businesses.
She's single mom, working full time.
Yeah, so
freelancing outside of that. Yeah,
how do you keep that connection on a daily basis with all of the other stuff you've got going on.
It's like any relationship, you have to kind of water it. So if I'm at work and one of my kids pops in my head, I'll try and shoot them a message. Maybe I'm not exactly having a real conversation with them, but they at least know that I'm thinking about them. Also, they seriously can feel when you're loving them and when you're not loving them.
That's true. Totally true.
And I just genuinely adore my boys. And so it's one of my favorite stories, and I was just telling you this, was, I'll randomly say to my kids, "Hey, Ethan," and he'll look at me, "I just love you." And one time I did it, and he looked at me, he was like, "Yeah, I know." And I went, "All right.
My work here is done."
He knows. Yeah, like, done. And that was a huge moment for me. It sounds like a stupid little story, stupid moment, but it really made me feel like, oh, okay, I'm doing something right. He knows I love him.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And they can tell, like, if you're saying I love you and you really mean it and there's something behind it, or if you're just saying it to just say it.
Out of habit.
Yes.
Okay, I love you, bye.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's nice to hear, too.
Right.
But it doesn't have the same heart-to-heart connection.
Right.
So make sure you keep that door open. And I see how you make time for your boys. Like, I know you've got a gazillion things going on, but you're constantly checking in with them.
Yeah.
And making time for them.
I felt really, I've had a lot of guilt since my divorce about not being able to have as much time with them that I did before, because I was a stay-at-home mom, and I loved it, and I loved being with my boys. And so when that wasn't an option anymore, and I had to work and go back to school, it was horrid for me inside. I just felt so like, oh, I'm losing my kids. And so for me, whatever time we did have, even if it was just, we're so tired, we're all just going to climb in bed and fall asleep. But we would all climb in bed together and kind of like fall asleep chatting about our days. Even if it's just that, they're still going to feel it.
Yeah.
They're still going to know, like, hey, mom's super busy, but we can feel, you can screw up. Your kids can screw up so much. And as long as they know you love them, it's going to be okay. I think. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And another thing, jumping to another kind of segment of what I've observed, is you have an amazing family culture that goes on for generations.
Oh, that's true.
You tie into all that. It becomes part of their identity, that they're part of this family.
Yeah.
So how did you...
I think that was just... I come from a very strange family, in a good way. My dad's family was like that.
Napkins on heads.
We just do crazy things. We have these weird traditions that during the holidays we'll put napkins on our heads, and every year we take a picture, and so we always end Thanksgiving dinner, with a napkin on our head and spoons on our, who can hold the spoon on their chin or their nose, and my dad plays the guitar, and sometimes he'll grab the guitar and finish dinner with the guitar. My dad had this weird family that they were all cousins, but they were actually kind of like one family because they all worked together. And so that and all of those stories just kind of came down into my family. And we live with my mom and dad. So we have, 3 generations living in one house. And because of that, they get to hear all of the stories about grandmas and cousins. And so it's just sort of this big, weird... Am I explaining that well?
I think that's great. And I noticed too, like, there's pictures everywhere of family. Like, the front of the fridge is just plastered with family pictures and all over, and not just like current pictures, or there's even pictures of the family dogs.
Right.
And, like everyone.
Rocco's on there. My brother's dog is on there. Yeah. It's
so strange, but it works.
Photographs, I think, are such a huge... When you can go back and look at these, like, moments that someone caught, I mean,
It brings back the emotion of that time.
I have a picture of me and it was before my youngest son was born, my 2 little boys in the hot tub. They're kind of learning to swim, and they had both latched onto my shoulders, and someone snapped a picture of me and my 2 boys. And every time I walk past it, I stop and just go, I loved that day. Like, I loved that moment. And so those photographs, if you're having hectic, single parent time, those photographs help remind you of why why you're doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
thank you for imparting
thank you for having me.
Wisdom and experience, and
it's
so fun to reconnect.
It's wisdom from experience,
yeah.
And not all good. Learn from my mistakes.
Well, hope you enjoyed this, and shout out a little comment to Jen, and if you have any questions or comments or accolades or anything like that, just drop them below, and we'll respond
let
back.
you know.
Okay.
We'll get back.
Thank you.
Peace.